I'm live. Okay, I'm gonna do a little descriptive, I guess, live video about the next moves and kind of like what's going on with me, the studio, kind of my background. Yo, what up, Jay? Well, Bronson, what's good? So this live is basically gonna comprise of like, I want to give you guys some background and some context. So what we got going on right here, like who is this dude? Who's Nethaneal Zechariah? What does he got going? I see he's designing for so-and-so and so-and-so. And I kind of just wanted to give context. I'm gonna post this on my page so people can kind of always look back and understand who I am. I also wanted to use this platform to let you guys know I'm gonna be having another drop releasing within the next couple months. It's gonna be super big, but this is a conversation that kind of has been happening. This dialogue has been super consistent, and it's like people see me and they see what I'm doing, and obviously yes, my page is pretty branded well, but I want you guys to understand like the story behind who's creating these things, who am I as a designer, just so we can connect on that personal basis, because I feel like that's important, that you guys understand. Yo, I'm like, background about me, I'm from Imperial Valley, California, the border of Mexico, where nothing and no one comes out alive, literally, like, at least from my experiences. Yes, we do have people that have made it out the city, you know, pro skaters, athletes, artists, but there's this story that has been needing to be told, and I haven't seen it be told. I haven't seen it told yet, and I feel like it's my obligation to tell you guys the story of where I'm from and who is this kid? What's his point of reference? What, like, why, like, you see this dude tatted up, you know what I mean? Like, I'm from the West Coast and I'm dropping a collection about like mid-century modern. Like, what's the context of that? It's like mad weird. And that's why I wanted to do this live, to really just connect with you guys. I got a bunch of homies that, you know, out there that know my story, but a lot of you really don't really know who I am, you know what I mean? And don't know my background. Don't even know anything about me and what I got going on right here in the back of me. What's up, George? Hey, and shout out to George, because George is the reason why you guys have the mid-century modern collection. And that's one thing about me, I'm super self-conscious. I love working on other people's designs, but when it comes to mine, I'm just like, I don't know, it's a weird place. But since the last collection, it gave me a lot of momentum to push for, you know, branding and merchandising myself and my story. So background about me, guys, I want to make it brief. I don't want to make this too long. But background about me, yo, I grew up in the hood, bro. I'm telling you, the block. We just down this block, we've already had around like 5 murders this year. I come from, this is all Chicano based. I'm right on the border of Mexicali. So I grew up seeing lowriders, you know, and you know, my tíos tatted up. You know, a lot of my family members were gang members, or graffiti writers. And that's like my background. You know, I also grew up in the church as a gospel musician, and that's something a lot of Chicanos, their faith background, it's a part of us. It's a part of our culture. You know what I mean? You have the Virgen, you have Jesus in freaking every Mexican restaurant, at least on this side of town. But it's just so, I think it's such a juxtaposition seeing me do what I'm doing, being from where I'm from. But the message is all hope that, bro, if I can do it out here in the hood and be successful and design for a lot of these big companies, you know, and produce and do something for my hood, you guys can do the same thing. But background about me, again, touching back on my background, I grew up, you know, around an environment where my pops was a gospel musician. We were in the church a lot, but we grew up in a specific church, yo. We grew up in a church where it was nothing but veteranos, drug addicts, gang members, prostitutes. So it catered towards that crowd. So that's what I was around. A lot of my homeboys growing up ended up being gang members, you know, going in and out of jail. And it's such a weird culture, because I grew up in the hood, in the church, but a church in the hood where, you know, our pastor rolled up in a Lolo, 1950 Chevy that was parked up in the front. That's what I remember. I remember, like, you know, having homies, collecting homies, and like all the OGs from our church, they're a bunch of veteranos, OGs, you know, old school gang members. And even my background, my pops, you know, a little bit about me. My pops was a OG graffiti writer from the 80s and 90s. He also was a musician. He believed in all the elements of hip hop. And if you guys are aware of anything that has to do with street culture and streetwear, you'll understand that it comes from the hip hop roots. You know, New York, that's the foundation. So I grew up surrounded by hip hop, surrounded by art. And my tío, which was pretty much like my older brother, he was also a graffiti writer. But he was kind of like the second generation of graffiti writers, where he was a, tag banger. So, and I kind of got, I got really attracted to that scene. So tag banging and graffiti writing was like, where I found my identity. But there's a way that it's kind of funny, but this really parallels with, my design work and where I am right now as an individual. And I kind of want to encapsulate this whole thing so you guys understand who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's funny, bro. Like, as I got older, like in high school, that's when I started messing around. I mean, I started graffiti writing. Like, I first started like my own crew and started writing for my tío's crew back in like 2009. That's when I first hit up a wall. I first got my first graffiti charge. First time I ever got arrested. First time I ever got in a real fight was for graffiti. Like, it was a big, heavy part of my life. And honestly, it really parallels in my design realm and aspect. That's my heart. I come from a graffiti and a tagger mind frame. And it's so funny because I was chopping up with a homie today, or actually last week, and we were talking about how, bro, graffiti writers were the first marketers and branders doing it how we're doing it. You see, if you knew specific graffiti writers that had a specific colorway, a specific font, or you know what I mean, hand style, and okay, that's this cat. And you see it paralleled in the industry to this day. They have their own specific colorways that they use. So honestly, from my perspective, graffiti writers were the first ones doing this branding thing. We're the first ones doing, taking their art form and plastering it on walls and doing the real marketing and branding. So that's really where my background stems from. Is graffiti writing, my pops kind of teaching me, but also my faith background, and how my faith background was implemented so I can kind of, as a man, have a better focus and scope of what I want to do with my art and my artistic abilities. So long story short, I grew up in a small town. We didn't have any outlets, anything to be creative in, so I took to graffiti. I started a little graffiti crew. I understood my influence. I was like, I'm going to start my crew. I'm going to do my thing, and we're going to set a platform for ourselves so people can see how, we're different and we're artistic, and we are talented, but in a different medium and platform. So I did my graffiti thing, started up my crew, and a lot of the homies that were in my crew, they're still, doing their thing to this day. Tattoo artists, very talented individuals. But along that line, I understood that there was kind of a void, doing graffiti banging, tagging, gang banging, the lifestyle that the West Coast kind of, evokes is, it can be misleading. It's tribal, but there's always a void in that, and I understood that as I became an adult, and my mind started, developing when I seen homeboys die for stupid things, and homeboys die for the block, and homeboys die for a graffiti crew, or even just, weird altercations that I was in. So as I grew up, a little bit about my background that a lot of people don't know is, before I started doing this design stuff and screen printing and where I'm at today, I was doing music production and I was producing beats and doing my little local rap thing. And I really did make it out the hood. I sold out all kinds of shows here in my hood. I was racking up maybe like 4K a show, and I was doing my thing, man. Had a solid foundation. And I kind of went to LA to try to pursue that career, but it didn't work out. And for the best, I moved to LA and tried to, connect with the scene that was going on out there. But I just really it didn't resonate in my heart. I was seeing how people would move. Mind you, I'm from a small town, so I wasn't really like, we grow up here, you can spot a fake a mile away. In LA or in bigger communities, you don't know who's out here jiving and conniving. You just, you want to go out and pursue your passion and dreams, but, you can get exploited like that. And I seen that. I seen the snakes, and I seen a lot of like heavy stuff going down. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of maneuver a different way. So I got my first job at a print shop in LA downtown, and honestly, it just expanded. And I don't want to talk too much on like, you know, I don't want to go too in depth, but what I do want to give you guys is just the background of who I am. And so, you know, when I got that job in LA as a screen printer, I pretty much just leveled up the ranks, made the right connections and networks. I was making good money. I had a lot of amazing experiences. But mind you, like I said before, I grew up in a small town. So all my homeboys, my family, everybody was back home. And at the time, I lost a lot of homeboys to gang violence and just to a lot of petty stuff. And I had that survivor's guilt. Like, yeah, I was enjoying LA, I was enjoying the big city, I was enjoying success. But I was like, man, it's not as fulfilling if you can't enjoy it with the people that you love and make the change and difference. So what ends up happening is I'm successful. I reach pretty much a plateau in LA, and I decide, man, I want to bring this back home because my people need it, my community needs it, the local economy needs it, they need jobs. And you know, sure enough, I took the leap of faith, and I, by the grace of God, I won the hidden design contest, and that kind of just gave me a good cushion of funds. I saved up like 25 racks, which is insane. But I saved up 25 racks and I just boom invested it here, and that's what you guys are seeing here. You know, this is you know, it's crazy because our AC's out and it gets up to 120 degrees. But we got some big announcements coming soon for the studio because yeah, we're gonna get a new spot, but I still kind of disclose for everybody. But big announcements coming soon. But that's why my heart came. You know, my heart was always for my hood and for my community. But I still was connected to that high-end fashion world, and I still kind of had my foot in the door. You know, I had it cracked, and now you guys are kind of seeing it materialize and seeing it manifest. That I'm doing work with, you know, I've done work with Jordan. I won the hidden design contest. You guys seen that Crenshaw Skate Club, born and raised, and I got so much lined up. But this is all to show you guys, like, man, this kid from the hood that grew up with nothing, surrounded by no opportunities, you know, made his way out regardless of his circumstances and regardless of what he has. But, you know, if I can tell you guys anything, the most fulfilling things in life are to help those in need, you know, and pour into what has poured into you. And that's my heart, is giving back to the soil that, you know, raised me up, and really just showing them hope, revitalizing the hope. And showing people like, yo, there's more to it than gangbanging, there's more to it than graffiti writing. Although that is a beautiful form of expression, you know, make a t-shirt, go and hustle and be your own self-made boss, and take risks and do things that no one else has done. And that's my thing, is like, I want to show you guys that, like, look, dude, look at me, I'm tatted up, I'm still wearing the same things, I'm still in the same place, in the hood, still doing these things, and it's mad humbling, and I'm so grateful that I'm in this position. But you guys can do it too, you know, and especially with this community that's kind of how do you say, expanding in this design / like fashion industry that's expanding, and there's such a camaraderie. I'm just grateful that I have my foot in the door, you know, now, because I know in the future, like, there's gonna be such a exchange of, like, I'm gonna put my valley on the map, and you guys are gonna see, and there's gonna be more individuals coming out from all these random places, and we're gonna be the ones taking over the industry, and that's what I believe. But I just wanted to give you guys some background on, you know, who I am, and kind of encapsulate, you know, these emotions that I'm feeling right now, because it was a thought that I jumped into. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm still out here in the hood, and I'm doing these dope things, and people are getting inspired, and I thought I should, you know, kind of connect with you guys, because a lot of you guys don't even know, you know, who's the dude behind, you know, the screen, and I want it to be as tangible as possible through this screen, so you guys can see me, hear me, feel me, you know, heart to heart, and understand who I am. You know, I'm not even gonna go into the details, but, you know, this kid out here, you know, in the hood, from the middle of nowhere, is out here doing really big things, and I'm gonna continue to do so and inspire my community. And I just want you guys to take that, and you know, I hope this inspires you, or gives you some type of hope that, hey, wherever you are, regardless of your circumstances, surroundings, dude, you can do whatever you want to do. And that, I think that's going to continue to be my message, and the culture that we, you know, surround ourselves with here, and the culture that I'm, you know, branding here with Without Wax Studios, and with my brand, Nethaneal Zechariah. But I am going to be dropping, you know, a collection, and my collection is going to be based on the topics that I was talking about, with you know, my background, and kind of paying homage to my community, where I'm from, you know. And I hope you guys will resonate with you guys. But yeah, man, I'm just so grateful, and I'm just in a weird place right now because it's like I'm celebrating the success of designing for a lot of big companies, but I'm still back in the hood, sweating freaking my huevos off, trying to print some t-shirts and fulfill these orders and continue to do what I'm called to do. And that's also something too, that if that resonates with you, you know, don't take those dubs, you know, and run with it and get comfortable. Get back to the grind, stay consistent, keep moving forward because it's not over, you know. And yeah, man, I'm rambling now, but I hope you guys got something. I do want to continue these, maybe do some like, I don't know, bro, like some YouTube, you know, or some podcasts, or continue this dialogue with you guys, you know. But exactly, my boy Joseph out here. I remember I was in high school, bro, and I was rocking like the 7th letter. Mind you, I'm a graffiti head, rocking the 7th letter. But I remember like my older cousins being in LA, putting me on game with like Fresh Jive and you know, who else was popular? I mean, Stussy was, you know, legendary. But I remember just having this like port key to like another world, and like just getting dished down game from my cousin JC and all my cousins out in LA, and like rocking it, and people not even understanding like what I was wearing or what I was about. But I understood it then, and Joseph was my homeboy, man. He was the one like slinging out of his two-tone vintage, man. Shout out to you, bro. Slinging out of your pad out of your car with the snapbacks and the custom snapbacks and truck fits, man. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this. I wanted to speak, you know, what was on my mind. I'm gonna leave this on my page. And yeah, man, thank you guys for even tuning in and listening to me ramble about my life, and you know, but I love you guys, and thank you guys for your support. And we're about to change this, man. We're about to change the game forever. But appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys supporting me, supporting my business, supporting my brand, and giving back to a local that's, you know, out here really trying to do it for his community and his hood. And you know, I got it tatted on me, bro. It's an oath, so I got to do it for my people. And you guys just watch the story unfold. It's gonna be crazy. But I'm about to head back to work. But I thought I'd just get my 2 cents out and express my emotions. I love you guys though. Peace.